Hello everybody, Final Miner back for another episode of our Let's Play. As you can see over my shoulder, it's snowing outside, looking really pretty. And if you have been watching the series, you can tell that we're inside of our power station. And last episode we were working on getting crystallized seeds to produce a better version of the actually additions oil for fuel. I think it's crystallized oil, I guess. I forget what it's called. But yeah, we've actually cleaned it up to look a ton better. We had a huge mess here in the middle where the dropper was dropping, like in the middle of the floor. And what was taking up, the whole middle of the floor so that I couldn't get to the back, now I've compressed it to this little space here. So, yeah, taking a little bit of time to think of a better way to do things can sometimes give you really, really good results. Let's see. Speaking of thinking, a couple of things we need to do. I'll have to reset this to be reading a oil block. Let's see, what's going to be the neatest looking way to do this? I guess that's it. Not too excited. I want it here because if I put it over here, then the pipes that are going to be connecting to these two are going to, interact. Either one of these machines will be trying to connect to the pipes, and these are actually two separate pipes. These pipes are coming straight across from the fermenting barrels underground right here, and then this guy is pumping out, and it's going over and coming up in between here to feed these oil generators. So anyway, I think this is the best layout, except for this redstone conduit. It looks kind of, yeah, kind of Maybe we could do this instead. That might look a little bit better. I don't know. Turn you off. Might look a little bit better. See if we have our Yeta wrench. We do. And I think a crescent hammer actually works too. Yeah, it does. Excuse me. So how about, I think we don't have any oil left at all. The last thing that we have to do, there are three things that we need to do to finish up here. One is we need to move this fellow over here behind this canola press so that we're going to be importing canola. Right now this thing is filtered to only accept canola. So that's how we're pushing it from the laser system from the greenhouse. So these are only accepting canola. We also need to set something similar here so it's only accepting seeds. That's how we used to have it. Well, now we're going to use this inside. So that's one thing, is to get the stuff in the wall fixed. Two, we need to hook this up to feed into the ESD, which is what's feeding the whole thing. And here's the third thing. This is the tricky part I haven't put enough thought into yet. And that is skeleton. And that is when we don't need this thing, when we do not need any more crystallized canola seeds, when this guy gets, I don't know, half full, even one stack is really enough. But when he has enough, how do we tell this to stop making more? Because otherwise, if we hook it up, it's just going to keep making them and making them and making them and feeding them in, and eventually it'll overflow. And we don't want that. But that can wait. That can definitely wait. Let's see. Laser wrench. There we go. Take those for just in case. And I think that'll do it. Yeah, I picked up I think 4 ender pearls just between episodes. Hello, Snow. Aren't you pretty? Hello, Creeper. So, I believe we have our filter on hand. Yes, we do. And we can plug these holes later. Not too worried about the holes right now. Like so. So let's see. This will have to filter on canola, and I don't think we... skeleton. I don't think we have any canola on hand. There we go. So let's filter this back over to canola. And we'll set this guy up. There we go. Whitelist canola. Good. And now all we should have to do is hit these guys and hook them up to this laser. I had hooked it up. I had set it up before so that it would be kind of symmetrical, but I didn't think about that until just now. I had one laser going to the left and one to the right from this thing, and so it would look kind of nice. Oops. I guess that's not going to be happening. Greenhouse immediately started working, so I assume that means, yeah, we're starting to bring in more of these. This one is actually configured to pull and push. This one's not, so that's why we don't have any in here yet. Inbound from up, good. Outbound to east. I think that's east. Right? Yeah, east. Interesting. Doesn't seem like he's pushing yet. Is that east? Yeah, that's east. So how come he's not pushing? It's not because of how I hooked up the lasers, is it? Outbound east. He has items in him. Up and east, up and east. Oh, you know what? There we go. Yep. Man, this thing gets me every time. I love these ESDs. I really, really like them. But they kill me. This whitelist, blacklist button is just killing me. So anyway, looks like that's going to work. Excellent. Excellent. Ow. Oh, come on, sprint you. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that things could burn in snow. Wow, I did a horrible job of fighting him. I'm still pretty terrible at fighting skeletons. Back in the 1.17 days, you pretty much just got in their face and started swinging at them, and they would bounce back a little bit and then die. Stuff doesn't bounce back nearly as much, and so my instinct to just get right in their face is pretty much always wrong. Pretty much always, every time wrong. There we go. We got all this pumpkin pie from trading with villagers. So, you know, why not? Might as well eat it. Let's see. Did I? You know what? I never did put the ESD out there, did I? Let's see if we can make this stupid jump. There we go. There we go. That wasn't so bad. Although we're going to have to go outside to set the laser anyway. So let's see. I know outbound is going to be east. And inbound is going to be up. That's good. We need canola seeds now, don't we? You know what? We've got them right here. I was about to go outside and get some. That would have been really dumb. Extremely stupid. So, there we go. Respecting metadata. Sure, I guess. Canola seed. Good. And then we just need our item interface and then set up our laser. So this will be part 1, almost done. Part 1. Yeah, not bad. So for part 2 is figuring out how to feed from the cache, that's that storage block, how to feed from the cache into the ESD. And I mean, we could make it really easy and just use conduits, but I don't hate Ender IO conduits. I've probably made it seem like that, like I can't stand them. That's actually not it at all. Especially for Redstone, I think the Redstone conduits are pretty incredible. The only reason I try not to use these is because they're just too easy. They're super easy. They're usually pretty cheap also. Oh, while we're at it, set to current block. Wrong seed. Yeah, that's that thing. I need to cover this with glass, don't I? Oh, and this redstone conduit's gonna get in the way. Yeah, it's gonna get in the way. I may end up sticking the conduit in the wall. Anyway, I was saying about conduits. They're too easy because you can do everything within one block space, and you can even hide them in the walls, like I was just talking about. And it just becomes this one-size-fits-all, can do everything really easily solution, and it's invisible. And especially the invisible part, I don't like. I like conveyor belts. I like it so that when an item is headed towards here, you can see it. Makes it kind of look like a factory. So, you know, I've been trying not to use conduits. We could use conduits here, and that would feed this guy until he was full. You know what? That would also allow us to push redstone control back, so that whenever we don't want any more here, it would disable pulling them out of here to the ESD. See, that's the thing. They're really good. Conduits are really, really good. They can do so many things for you. But I like to do things in a more visual way. So, I don't know. This is the step that we're going to have to think about a little bit more. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm going to go ahead and take a break here and spend some time thinking about it. Hopefully I can come up with a more, if nothing else, more fun to look at answer. Back in a second. Okay, so I have a theory that we may have a block that can help us out. And we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see about that. And that is the, not the network monitor. It's the, it is a monitor. I forgot the exact name of it. The Ender monitor. Okay. Does this not have a search function? Alright, hold on a sec. I'm going to look through the table of contents and we'll find the page we want. So, I am completely 100% wrong. The Ender monitor is part of the Endergenic generator. That's the, I guess you could say, the high-end power generation system in RF tools. and it involves tossing ender pearls back and forth and redstone timing and all that. It has nothing to do with watching items and inventories. So, Alright, back to the drawing book. Okay, so what do you think about this? Inventory checker. This block checks a slot in a nearby inventory and emits a redstone signal in case the number of items in that slot is above a certain value. That sounds pretty good to me. So above a certain number of items in a slot, it'll emit a redstone signal. That's exactly what we want. Exactly what we want. So that was called the inventory checker, I think. Inventory checker. Yeah, that looks good. So we need a chest, dark utilities, yeah, a chest, a base plate, and a comparator. That's actually pretty easy. We may have a comparator. I feel like I made one and then never used it. That would be a very me thing to do, to make one and never ever use it. Let's see, we need a stick. Look at that, one stick. Here we go. That should do that. And what do we need for a base plate? Nuggets over stone, looks like. And a chest, and 2 redstone. Okay. 2 redstone. And what was it, gold nuggets? Had to be, right? You know what's incredible about this? Absolutely amazing. It requires no iron. That's unbelievable. I can't believe that such a thing could exist. An item that did not require iron to make. So, we'll go ahead and try slapping this on there and see if we can get what we want out of it. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's see. I think that's our first 3 for the episode, right? We didn't have 1 earlier, did we? We are rolling in ender pearls. Okay, so slap this guy here. I believe that little orange arrow indicates which direction the redstone will output. So how about we tell it to go this way? At least for now. And let's see if we can take a look at the flat gradient thick. Wow, that's very useful. Slot 0, amount 1. Does this allow me to set a... Looks like it, yeah. So what we need now is to stick these conduits up here and see if we can get them to turn on. You can actually feed a redstone signal to conveyor belts to turn them off. So, yeah, it would be bad to leave that connected. So, slot 0, apparently that's not slot 0. Set the amount of items. Match meta damage. Oh, I see. Yeah, we want to ignore that. Or dictionary. We don't want that either. So what if we say 64? CR. Carriage return, something like that. Not turning on. Okay, I think this block is going to work for us. I'm just going to have to monkey with it for a minute to get it to turn on that redstone signal. Back in a sec. You know what? It helps if you put the correct item in there. Helps big time. That didn't solve it, but at least we have the correct item in there. I just thought of something interesting that we can try. A vanilla Minecraft tool we can use for debugging stuff like that, and that is a note block. Which is, yes, I don't know the recipe for a note block, so sue me. Sue me, okay? I never ever make note blocks. But this seems like a good time to do it, and here's why. When you are sitting in a GUI, adjusting numbers around and trying to figure out, you know, does this do it? Does that do it? Does that turn on the redstone signal? Does that? The problem is you have to adjust something in the GUI and then close the GUI and look out and say, okay, did that work? Did that work? Did that work? Did that work? Yeah. Now if I have a note block hooked up here, as soon as I get the correct setting, like say it was supposed to be slot 9, you know, as soon as I did that, I would get a note out of the note block. But that's not working. Oh. So a little more tinkering, but I just thought that that was a stroke of genius. I thought that I was an incredible genius, and I thought you needed to know how genius I was. Yeah. Yeah. And apparently I'm an idiot because I can't get this thing to work. Can't get it to work. You know what? It was a stupid idea anyway. Alright. So we have our fellow back there putting out the redstone signal that we want. Yeah. And I think we can go ahead and think about how we're going to send the redstone signal across the room. And I would like to try these redstone wire connectors from Immersive Engineering, just because I've never tried them before. And so those take electrum. Do we have any silver in here? Looks like we don't. We should probably grab a stack of every type of metal so we have at least one on hand for crafting. Lead. Whoa. Lead. Okay, maybe not lead. Silver. Don't have a lot of silver either. You know what? Scratch that. We'll take a stack of 10. Yeah, okay. So maybe later. Maybe once we've got our power system doing what we want it to do. Or something like that. So we just needed a little bit of electrum. We'll go ahead and make 2 full ingots, or excuse me, 4 full ingots. And that should be more than enough to keep us going for quite a while. Because we use next to 0. Okay, so we needed hardened clay and some redstone. Let's go ahead and make a couple of these. That should be 16, yeah. We'll make a couple of batches of these because if we like them, then we're going to end up using them quite a lot. If we don't like them, I'll probably give it another shot anyway because I really like the mod. So, 1 of you, and that should give us 2 of you. 2 batches. Yes. Okay, so now we need the redstone wire also. And it looks like that's this one. Wait, is that? Yeah, redstone wire coil. So it takes a little bit of aluminum and some redstone. I don't think we have aluminum over here. Aluminum. Aluminum. You're not here. Yeah. Tell you what, while we're over here, let's go ahead and check on That's aluminum, right? Yeah. While we're here, let's go ahead and check on our power system. Ha ha ha. So these guys don't have any oil. They're not being provided with oil. This guy is not squeezing. These guys are out of power. Wait a second, what? Oh, they're not even hooked. Oh. Oh, idiot. Oh. Oh, stupid. Okay, just for now, even though it looks ugly, I'm going to hook these up like that. Like that. And that's not going to give us any power yet. But we do have our emergency system over here. Do I have anything that will burn for power? My note block, my useless note block. We'll go ahead and toss a piece of coal or something in there. And that should be enough to bootstrap it. Yeah. Do. Survival generator. You know what? Why not? Just because I don't want to mess with it for a while. So it's getting power now, and it's squeezing. Yeah, that should do it. That should be more than enough to get it bootstrapped. Although, is it going to be enough to produce a whole bucket? We'll find out in a second. In several seconds. Looks like that's already exported to here. Okay, yeah, that's going to take a bit. So I think that probably is going to be enough to bootstrap, because these things run forever. Yeah, 13 minutes off of a piece of coal. Good grief. So anyway, that's why we have that sitting around as a backup system. Squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. A world full of squirrels. So we needed to produce some wire, and I think we have to make it a plate first. I think that's right. Where's my hammer? Don't I have a busted up hammer somewhere? It's probably back in the power plant. So give me one of these and that. So it's one for a piece of wire, huh? Wow. Wow. Interesting. And I think we need a stick also. I think we need one more stick. Okay, so now, redstone wire, yes, there we go. Gonna go ahead and empty out my inventory here. Otherwise I'll end up just shuffling stuff back and forth for the rest of the episode. Let's see if we have some more scaffold. Yeah, we do. If I was not using scaffold as a building material, we would probably never ever run out. But not only is the stuff extremely useful to carry around, it's also pretty good for decorating. So let's see how dumb this looks. The problem with this inventory checker is it's like a half or even like a third of a block, maybe even a quarter of a block. And so when you connect stuff to it, it looks kind of odd. Kind of, yeah, weird. So how about we make this slot 1 actually. And when you get up to, say, 32, okay. Yeah, okay. So what that will do is it will accept items into slot 0 until it fills up. And then when slot 1 gets above half of a stack, it'll say, oh, okay, turn off. And so the signal that we're going to send is going to go over here somewhere. We'll probably stick an ESD here, something like that, and that will turn that off. And so it'll stay off until this guy uses up his entire first stack. Oh, it worked. Good. And these guys are burning? Yes, they are. And these guys must be pretty happy. Yeah. So this is going to start cranking. Yep, there it goes. Good. Excellent. So anyway, you can see he's pulling from his stack number 0 first. And that'll get completely empty. The stack we're watching is this one. When it starts to use this one up and it gets below 32, which is what we put here, when it gets below 32, it'll turn the signal off. And that will allow the ESD over here to turn back on again and send a, I guess it'll probably send more than one stack over here. So, yeah, that could be a problem. Maybe we should have it watch number 8 or even number 7 instead. That way we know this thing is really, really empty. Really, really, really empty. If we're watching stack number 1 here, then it'll take a long time for that to fill back up. You know what? I'm not sure even that'll work. Not even sure that'll work. Yeah, hold on. Give me a second to think about this. Okay, so yeah, we may have to change what we're doing here a little bit. I took a second to think about it, and here's the problem. No matter which slot we're looking at, even if it's the first one, when the first one gets, say, below half, and it tells this guy, okay, it's okay for you to start pushing items again. If we're using an ESD, then it'll push a whole stack in here, right? And then 2 or 3 seconds later, it'll push another whole stack in. And a few seconds later, it'll push another whole stack in. So you could get 3, 4 stacks, maybe 5 or 6 stacks over here, and then getting lasered, and then getting sucked up, and over here. You know, we could probably end up with 9 stacks or more by the time all that happens. And so if we're looking at this guy and we're waiting for his redstone signal to turn off before we produce more, you know, by the time the first stack gets here, there's going to be 7 or 8 or 9 more on the way. And that's a problem because that's probably going to overflow. So yeah, the way that I'm doing it right now will not work. It simply will not work. So give me another minute. I'm going to look at it and see if we can find something intelligent to do. So I think for the sake of my bedtime and my sanity, we're just going to do this the easy way. We're going to use conduits. Yeah. So we have not made any item conduits yet. Pulsating iron, which I think is ender pearls and iron. Yes, good. We happen to have tons of ender pearls, and we'll probably end up using tons of these conduits in the future too. Because, like I said, I don't hate them. I just think they're a little. They're not imbalanced. They're not too powerful. They're just. They're not much of a challenge, and when you hide them away, they're not as impressive. And that's all. I'm a big fan of them. Alright. Let's see. I've already got the binder composite. So if I recall, you were like this. Like that. Yeah. And then we'll need a lot more redstone conduit. And that's probably iron and redstone. Why you know? Why you no find it? The alloy is, oh, silicon and redstone. Interesting. Silicon and redstone. And it looks like clay. That's a terrible clay recipe. Looks like clay, redstone ore in a sag mill, and sand, and that's a 50-50. Yeah. How much sand do we have? Alright. We'll just go ahead and use up half of our sand. Wow, that's quite fast. And we're going to need redstone too, aren't we? One of the best parts of modded Minecraft is just the ability to, wow, I'm a genius, is the ability to do alloys, not alloys, redstone signals without taking up, you know, entire rooms worth of redstone logic. So something that I made once that I was extremely proud of, this was, you know, all vanilla, back in my all vanilla days. I made a secret door that could be opened on either side by a lever, which is a bit harder than it sounds, because if you have the lever on one side, you know, that might disable it on the other side. Or if you have the lever turned on the outside, well, how do you close the door from the inside? And it works similar to how a light switch is. The gate is called an XOR gate. Basically, no matter which lever you flip, it flips the signal to the device. So anyway, and I was looking at doing it with just vanilla redstone, and I ended up filling up a small to medium sized room just with redstone logic, and it took me a while because it was the first time I'd ever done it, and I didn't know redstone that well. But it's the kind of thing that with modded Minecraft you would just do in, you know, 4 or 5 minutes. Or if you had these redstone conduits. Speaking of which, did I ever pick up my alloy? Wow. I am having a hard time talking and chewing gum at the same time. It's the kind of thing that if you had these redstone conduits, you would probably just do, you know, just by configuring them. So, although I enjoyed the challenge of redstone, especially vanilla redstone, there are times where it's just not practical or kind of ugly like that. Not a big fan of that. So let's see here. What we want to do is take items from our cache over there. But we don't want to always do it. We want to do it only at certain times. And the time that we want to do that is when, let's say, stack number 2 is under 32. And here's how we'll accomplish that. Right there. So I believe junk. Hold on a sec. I'm going to configure the hotkey from my Yeta wrench so I can hit that connection. Okay, I'm a derp. It's just shift left click. Yeah. So let's configure this first. Let's see. Color the redstone signal. So in case you don't know, these redstone conduits, not only will they carry a full strength redstone signal all the way to the other end, but you can have them on different channels, and that's the color here. And we'll see the other side of that in a second. We don't really need channels, so we'll just set it to red. And that should be just fine. Okay, red. So here's what we have. Right now, the up side extracting from the cache here. It's set to extract mode. Right now it's set to never active. That way it doesn't instantly start spewing stuff out of it. And right here, redstone signal red. So what that does is active with signal. So it's never going to turn on unless it gets a redstone signal. Well, it will also watch this channel here, this redstone channel. And what that does for us is whenever, good job, whenever this turns on, it will be considered a command to pull. Right? Yeah, we have a signal. Go ahead and pull. So we're going to try to invert that as well. Active without signal. There we go. So whenever it has no signal, it will be allowed to pull out of here. I think we're probably going to be getting a little bit of the same issues as before, with it possibly pulling too much, but yeah, we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. So, we have no power in our laser, and we have nothing here. I guess that's good. So how about we take some of the items out? There we go. And so that triggered it for it to go ahead and send a stack through. Now, do we have another stack in there? Yes, we do. So it's already loaded an entire second stack in here. That's a little bit better than where we were with the conveyor belts, though. With the conveyor belts, it would have just stacked and stacked and stacked. Right now, worst case scenario, it'll take a few seconds for this guy to get lasered and picked up here and sent over here. And by the time it gets in here and stacks up, by the time it gets over there and stacks up in the dropper, we may have another stack that's gone through. But, you know, that's not the end of the world. Definitely not the end of the world. That's a lot better than having several stacks go through. So how about we tell it to look at slot 2. That's being permissive too. Let's go ahead and go to slot 3. Yeah, that should be fine. Because what we were talking about before, it'll use up all of this slot, and then all of this slot, and then all of this slot, and it'll get here. Right now we're watching this slot, and if it gets low, that means this whole first row is already empty, right? And so when this gets low, it'll say, hey, go ahead and send some more through. So if it sends 1 stack through, okay. If it sends 2 stacks through, good. 3 stacks through, eventually it'll get to where we want it to be. I'm not sure there's going to be a great way to keep this thing from overflowing the way we have it right now, but I'm also not that worried. The worst case scenario is we lose some crystallized seeds that's spit out here on the floor. And if that happens, I'll start finding a different way to do this. I've already spent too much time on it. I really don't want to spend any more time on it. That's the honest truth of it. So let's see. Let's get some lasers to hook up to the laser. We need to laser the laser. We'll get our laser wrench so we can wrench. That was weird. So we can wrench the lasers that are going to laser our laser. Right? You following me? Laser wrench. So we can wrench the lasers. They're going to laser our laser. Go ahead and make this look nice. and then we'll come over here, and then we'll go right above. Oh. Oh. And that's even in the wrong spot, isn't it? No, that's fine. Okay. Right here, and you, and you. There we go. Okay. So it's going to drop a whole second stack. It's going to drop another stack. Yeah, this guy's just going to keep shooting them. It's going to keep loading and keep loading. We'll see what happens when it turns off. If it never turns off, then we're in huge trouble. Yeah, if it never turns off, we're going to blow through our seeds and waste all of them. So let's see, we're looking at slot 3, that'll be here, and it's looking for 32 of them. One more stack. There we go. So it just turned it off. How much overflow are we going to get? Looks like quite a bit. Yeah, it looks like quite a bit. We may end up doing something like having an overflow chest or something. Maybe have maybe not a chest, but maybe even another cache right here, and monitor that thing instead. So if it gets below a certain amount, or maybe even a drawer. I don't know. We'll see. See, so here's the problem with the way we're doing it. Here's the flaw. It got below the amount we wanted, right? So it started requesting more. So it filled up here, and here, and here, and it filled up here. Okay, that's fine, right? But then it also stuck some here. And here's why that's a problem. It's going to use these, and then all these, and then all these. And then it's going to use these. And when it gets down to below, half here, it's going to ask for more. It's never going to touch these. Those are never going to get touched. And if it's over requesting by about a stack each time, next time it does this, then this slot will be filled up. And then this slot, and then this slot, and then this slot. And then it's going to be backstuffed, and we're just going to have seeds coming down the conveyor belt and getting spit on the floor because they're not going to have anywhere to go. So yeah, it's not working. It's not working, but it is producing power. So we'll just have to see. The main problem we have right now is that these conveyors, they're not an intelligent transit, right? They just, whatever's here, okay, yeah, I'll take it. And then they'll try to stick it in the other end. So, yeah. Tell you what, how about we go ahead and try getting another cache and see if we can set it up that way and make it work out the way that we want it to. Well, looky here. You know what? Wow. Another ender lily seed. We're actually getting so many ender lilies these days. I should probably just stop counting them because it's really not that special anymore, is it? Yeah, not even close. Okay, so here's the solution so far. We have a cache that's accepting all of the crystallized seeds. It's getting pushed over into the dropper. The dropper is going to fill all the way up. So we're always going to have several stacks of these things that basically aren't being used. That's actually okay for a reason I'll describe here in a second. And then when this gets completely backstuffed, this will hold on to, a stack or part of a stack. And then these will start to add up. And I have it set to once it gets to half a stack to send out the signal. So we should be getting to that pretty soon, actually. We'll just have to see. Pew. Are you going to trigger? That's the big question. I'm just hoping that this slot 0 can ever be read. Because if not, we're kind of in trouble. Yeah, so it looks like that's not working either. Because I was able to pull 64 out. Why? If it only had 32 in there, why was I able to pull 64 out? So, back to the drawing board. Okay, so we actually just fixed it. I switched it over to slot 1 instead of slot 0. Apparently that's where it stores all of them. And so now it's working. So that's actually really good. This guy will continue making and making, right? And it'll push. And this will overflow a bit, but it seems like for the cache, it can hold a lot more than a stack in slot 1. And I don't know. Eventually we'll see if that's true or not. Eventually we'll see if that's true or not. How about we set this down to 2? Or tell you what, 30, we'll set it to 62. Pretty sure that will give us a good result. Or even 63. 63. Because if it's just stacking those in the first stack and then stacking more in other slots, then we would have already triggered it. So it looks like this is going to work. Set this down to, say, 1. 1. As long as it has anything, no more can be made. So that's pretty good. We'll call that a finished build because it's handling overflow just fine. And the fact that we have tons of stuff backstuffed here is okay because this is our power generation system. If for some reason we ran out of the power that we needed to run the laser, well, we've already got a ton of these converted. And this could actually end up helping us bootstrap. So this guy's going to have oil backstuffed. These guys will have oil backstuffed. And none of this requires power. None of it. None of it at all. We can have our power storage be completely dry, and this will continue running probably until our oil runs out. So, yeah. So it looks like we've solved all 3 of our problems. All 3 of them. Not really problems, but our tasks. So this guy, these are all done. The wall's done. We figured out how to send over here without backstuffing. It's by using extremely powerful conduits. And we also figured out how to turn it off so that we don't backstuff too much over here and overflow. So that's pretty good. I'd say that's a finished build. Yeah, I like it, sort of. I'm going to keep looking at this because it's going to drive me nuts. And if I can think of a better, or at least a cooler way of doing this, according to my definition of cool, if I can think of a better way of doing this, then I'll rebuild it and I'll show you. But yeah, that's all right. I'm going to find one short task to do, and then we'll do that and we'll finish up this episode. This seems like a good time to have the street lights turn on. And that'll stop a little bit of mob spawning. Instead of having a useless street that I never use, probably smarter if I just spread these around the base. So yeah, maybe I'll do that in between episodes. maybe I'll kind of run a circle of these things around base. That's what I plan to do eventually anyway. So yeah. Thank you, Direwolf20, for your contribution to this episode. Alright, back in a minute. So, I kind of feel like we already have plenty of wiring and such in here. So instead of, stringing powered lanterns inside or something else, how about we just stick some glowstone in the floor? And we're not going to make it vanilla glowstone, of course. Of course not. What self-respecting person would use vanilla glowstone? We'll chisel it. And let's go with half that at first. So let's see. We're in a power room. What would look kind of technology without being too busy? I kind of wonder about that. That almost has a circuit looking pattern to it. That definitely has a circuit looking pattern to it. I don't know. I think that's a little too busy. Maybe something a little bit simpler. That would be okay, except it's kind of dark, right? Kind of counterintuitive. So maybe the road. I think I've actually used the road before, or maybe even circular. Tell you what, let's go with tiles first for now. See how that looks. That's not bad. That's not bad. And can we stick redstone on you? We can't. Oh, that's a problem. That's actually a huge problem. Interesting. I wanted to light it up down the center here. Well, let's see. Let's go ahead and stick one here. Is that going to be enough? Go ahead and douse all our torches. That includes you. Is it just me, or does it seem really, really bright in here? Scaffold doesn't let light through, does it? I don't think so. Let's see what the light level overlay says. Wow, where are we getting all that light from? Because this is dark, which is under scaffold. But the rest of this, you know what? You don't belong there. Okay, wow, I guess that one torch was lighting up so much of it. This end looks really good because of that one glowstone. Maybe we can just go right here, stick one more glowstone. That corner is just barely lit enough. Let's see, how far away is this? 3 from the border. 3 from the border. So that's symmetrical. If I were to put a block like right here, that suddenly becomes a spawning spot. But otherwise, yeah, otherwise, it doesn't look too bad either. It looks fine. Okay, yeah. Let's call that complete then. That's what I think. Let's call it complete. Now that I've actually produced a whole bunch of redstone conduit, I'm wondering if maybe there's not an easier way to just get rid of this. I'm wondering if there's not an easier way to just stop it. I mean, stop it from being above ground. So, if the plate is on, we don't want to send any signal. If the plate is turned off, we want to send a constant signal. So we still have to invert one way or the other. We can have a redstone torch underground, and that's okay, I guess. It's okay. we could run a conduit 2 blocks below here, and we could have the torch directly below here. Yeah, let's go ahead and give that a try. I don't particularly like running cables and stuff straight underground if I can help it, because I don't know, you just end up with a big mess of wires and stuff down there. That's my opinion. Let's see, so I came to get those redstone conduits. Redstone conduits. Oh yeah, I stuck them here. Yeah. Alrighty. So, take this fellow, put it here, like this. So, redstone conduit. Get our Yeta wrench, and we'll force him to attach up. And we'll say strong signal. I don't know if that actually matters, but we'll just say strong signal. Okay. Like this. Yeah. And have him attach up as well. Attach up. Yeah. Did I? I didn't. I need to set this to in out. Okay. So that'll force it to attach. You know, normally a conduit's not going to want to attach to a dirt block. Imagine that. They don't normally look at dirt blocks as being related to redstone. But this way you can force it to connect, and it should be able to read the pressure plate's signal through the dirt. Yeah, there we go. Yep, that'll do it. So, not my favorite way of doing things, but it works. And it gets the redstone dust off the ground. You can go ahead and pull this off, and there we go. Now we have a nice, pretty small, compact way, at least above ground, of doing that. Pretty good. Yeah, I'm going to look at this conduit stuff a little bit more and see if we can't do something else with it. I might even run some of this conduit underground. Anyway, I think that's enough for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope I wasn't too, stupid. And I hope it wasn't too rambly. But anyway, I'm kind of puzzling my way through some of these systems. I'm trying to think of a creative way too. I've seen some other, I've seen some other Let's Players and the solutions that they use, and I'm trying to think of something different, something that you probably haven't seen somewhere else, and that makes it, I don't know, a little bit harder on me. But anyway, if you enjoy it, that's what I'm interested in. I'm enjoying it, and I'll see you next time.